Vaccination, which is a process of training and strengthening the immune system, holds its origin back in 1796 when an English doctor named Edward Jenner tried to demonstrate an experiment to show the treatment similarities between cowpox and much severe smallpox infection. For that, he took pus from a milkmaid's hand who was suffering from a cowpox infection and injected it into a 7-year-old boy. The boy surprisingly showed milder cowpox symptoms, however, showed resistance to deliberate smallpox exposures. So, this is how the first vaccine of the history was generated. So, in fact, the word vaccination comes from the vacca word, which is a Latin word for cow. In order to know how vaccines work, one must know about the immune system. The immune system basically works via two lines of defenses. The first one is the innate or the inborn immunity. It works by producing non-specific physical responses such as fever, cough, sneezing, inflammation, etc. On the other hand, adaptive immunity is a complex line of response which responds to the pathogen presented and remembers it for the future. It works via two main warriors, the B cells that work via antibodies and the T cells that alter the other immune cells to form memory. Antibodies are Y-shaped proteins that have regions that specifically bind to pathogenic antigens and then thereby mark them to be killed by other cytotoxic cells. Vaccines utilize the property of the immune system by acting as the pathogen imposters and immune trainers. They do this by activating the same immune response as the pathogen but without actually causing the full-fledged infection. For further understanding the functionality of the vaccines, one must look at the classification on the basis of the form in which it is delivered. The first one is the live attenuated vaccine, where a weakened form of the pathogen with reduced infectivity is injected. The example for this is the MMR vaccine. The second form is the inactivated form of the vaccine, where heat or chemical treatment is used to inactivate the virulence or the pathogenicity of the pathogen, for example, rabies vaccine. The third form is the toxoid vaccine, where the actual toxins from the pathogens that are released outside are taken and injected directly into the person so that the immunity is generated. For example, the tetanus vaccine. So the fourth one is the subunit vaccine, where a part of the pathogen is delivered directly into the bloodstream, where maybe a protein or a polysaccharide. The example for this would be in human influenza vaccine. So the fifth one is the recombinant DNA vaccine, where the genome of the pathogen is modified using recombinant DNA technology, which is a current experimental technology. Before being available for commercial use, a vaccine has to pass through various testing procedures. A new vaccine is first passed through preclinical trials, where it is tested in cell culture as well as animals. The human trials begin by phase 1 trials, which run up to several months and usually has 20 to 80 healthy volunteers. These trials are used to decide the route of administration of the vaccine, whether to be orally given or to be injected. After assessing the safety degree of these vaccines, the FDA, the agency, approves around 70% of these vaccines to phase 2 clinical trials. Phase 2 clinical trials run up to 2 years. Usually a larger group, up to 500 people, is analyzed, and these trials basically are used to identify the dosage as well as the timing of the vaccine to be given. According to FDA, however, only 30% of these vaccines in phase 2 trials are passed on to phase 3. Phase 3 clinical trials extend more than 2 years. It involves participation of around 3,000 people. Since this is the final stage of analysis, it becomes extremely important to maintain the unbiasedness as to underreporting or overreporting of the symptoms. So this brings us to an involvement of a placebo group. A placebo group is a group which is not actually given the vaccine. So a computer randomly segregates people into vaccinated as well as placebo groups, making the study double blind. where neither the medical practitioner or nor the pupil knows which group whom belongs to. Thus, each and every vaccine has to pass through these trials in order to prove its safety, tolerability, as well as efficacy before being licensed and marketed. So, only about 25 to 30% of the vaccines that enter the phase 3 trials actually pass on to the commercialization step.